Hi, my name is Swetha Gangu and this is my 15-112 term project, a two-player game called ROTA. The ROTA board is a wheel with 8 circles surrounding a circle in the middle. There are spokes going from the center circle to all the other circles, and the pieces of the ROTA board can move along these spokes. The player can place 3 pieces on the board, but once they have all 3 pieces, they can only move by moving these pieces along the spokes, and the first player to get 3 pieces in a row wins. One of the distinguishing features of my term project is my AI, a Minimax algorithm which is pretty difficult to beat. Minimax is a kind of backtracking algorithm that is used in decision-making in game theory to find the optimal move for a player. In Minimax, the 2 players are called the maximizer and the minimizer. The maximizer tries to get the highest score possible, while the minimizer tries to do the opposite and get the lowest score possible. Each board state has a value associated with it. In a given state, if the maximizer has the upper hand, then the score of the board will tend to be some positive value, and if the minimizer has the upper hand, then it'll tend to be some negative value. The heuristic that I use to calculate the value of my board states is Heron's formula. Because the ultimate goal of ROTA is to align the 3 points, I calculate the area of the triangles formed by the points, and I attempt to minimize this area. You can also play my game in the easy mode, which is just a mode where the computer randomly generates legal moves. Another main feature of my game is the multiplayer mode, which I implement using sockets. Something I did that's sort of interesting is I actually have a separate UI for my server that you have to connect to if you want to play in multiplayer mode. Now, I don't hard-code the IP address or the port number, but rather I find the IP address of the computer automatically and present it as game pin 1. The server also asks for game pin 2, which is really just the port the server should be run on. Now, theoretically, the player who runs the server would send both game pins to his or her friend to play ROTA, and his friend on the client side would just log on to multiplayer mode by entering these game pins. Okay, there we have player 2 connected, player 1's already connected, and then they would just be able to play each other. And another something that I do that's a little bit interesting is I allow my players to interact with the AI by just asking for a hint of what move to do. Now, you may be wondering what the number in this corner is, which leads me to explain a rather interesting feature which I implemented. I allow my server to handle servicing an indefinite number of instances of the game by pairing players off by the order in which they come. Okay, so you'll see that now these are both connected, and this was the 3rd player that came, and this is the 4th player that came, and now they can play with each other too.